Hey guys, so Chanel just recently released their Le Blanc 2020 collection here in the US. It's been available overseas for quite some time, Canada, some of the Asian countries, but we finally got it here in the US and I was so excited. I jumped right onto the Chanel site and ordered it. So let me show you what we're going to be talking about today. I have the Le Blanc Rosy Light Drops. I also have the Gloss Lumiere that comes with this collection. The shade, wow, I can't pronounce this, Miroir de. I also have the limited edition blush that comes with this collection as well. It's Rose Petalon. It's number 330. And then I also got both of the quads. So the one with the more purpley toned. This one is Au Fil des Fleurs, number 356. Oh my God, I am so, anyone out there who speaks French, I'm so sorry. This is the one that has the more grayish silvery tones in here. This is number 358, Au Fil de l'Eau. All of the names will be down below in my description box, since how could you possibly know what their names are by what I just said? So what I am going to be doing today is showing you some close-ups, some swatches of everything. And I did 2 eye looks for you, one using the more purpley quad, and then one using the more gray quad, which is what I am wearing at the moment. So I have all of these products on my face right now, but I did film myself applying them. So what I'll be doing is either kind of split screening or cutting away to my application of these products, and I'll just talk us through it. So let's run through the products quickly. So first we have the Le Blanc. These are the Rosy Light Drops. These have a really lovely kind of thinner consistency. It actually reminds me of the By Terry Brightening CC Serum. It's thinner, a little bit more runny than the NARS Tinted Glow Booster that they just came out with. It's also a lot thinner than the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. But a product like this will achieve a very similar effect. I happen to like this and the By Terry Brightening CC Serums a lot. I like mixing them into my foundation. I like using them as like a very subtle kind of like highlighter, and that's what I did with this Rosy Light Drops today. So I just have a very light coverage foundation on today. I'm using the Chanel, that Water Fresh tint. I have it in the shade Medium Light, by the way. That's what I have on. And then I just brushed this kind of on the high points of my face. I did use a brush, and I'll remember to link those down below in my description box as well, which brushes I use in this video. But I use my Smashbox Cream Cheek Brush, and it gives you just a really nice kind of very subtle pearly sheen. The tone to this Rosy Light Drops, as you can probably tell, is very, very cool toned. This entire collection has a very kind of cool, icy toned color story to it. So this works really, really well as part of the collection. You can see here in my swatch on the back of my hand that when you blend it out, you'll get a very pearly, with a very light pink shift kind of finish to your skin. But because the consistency is definitely on the lighter side, it does kind of like absorb into your skin, and it is not like a very, very super bright highlight. It just gives your skin like a very, very lovely finish, and it's really, really gorgeous. It is a much more subdued finish than the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury. And again, I do find these very similar to the By Terry Brightening CC Serums. So I'm not sure what color name this is, but I will leave it down below in my description box. So it's a little bit peachier than this. So this one is actually very, very cool. You can see the Le Blanc bottle looks a little bit more fleshy and peachy than this By Terry. But I thought these Rosy Light Drops were going to be very similar to the By Terry Starlight Rose Brightening CC Serum that they came out with for the holidays. And it's actually a bit deeper. Let me see if I can do some side-by-side swatches here. So here's the Chanel, here is the By Terry, the lighter, whiter one, and then here is the Starlight Rose. So again, you can see that they have a very similar consistency. Let me try not to rub it into one another. And the By Terry and the Chanel are actually very similar. The By Terry, I feel like, actually has a stronger like pink tint to it, where I feel like the pearliness of the Chanel actually kind of stands out. And one advantage to the Chanel Rosy Light Drops is if you don't like a rose scent, which the By Terry Brightening CC Serums have, then you're in luck, because this does definitely have a little bit of a fragrance, but it smells clean versus floral. So if you don't like a floral scent, then you're definitely going to enjoy the Chanel more. But here, they've dried down a little bit. So yeah, can you see that the Chanel has a little bit more of like a pearliness to it, and the By Terry has kind of just like a pink shift. And when it comes to the By Terry Brightening CC serums, I really like kind of mixing them into my foundation. I feel like they, you know, add just enough like little oomph to any kind of foundation that maybe just has like a natural skin like finish. These just add like a little bit of a nice kind of like pearly finish to it. The Chanel, from what I can tell, I've only played with it a little bit. I really like tapping it on over my foundation, and that's what I did today, probably because it has that really beautiful pearly sheen. I don't really necessarily want that like all over my face, and it can be you know, pretty strong, especially in direct light. So this is a big winner for me, and if you have a cooler skin tone, I think this would be absolutely beautiful. I think if you have a warmer skin tone, I think you could make it work if you used it very lightly, but I do think this will work beautifully on cooler skin tones. All right, next up, let's talk about blush. This is the blush that has come out with this collection, and everything in this collection is very soft, and not really a surprise when I had heard that this collection was released in the Asian markets. First, I thought, it's gonna be a very soft collection. I find eyeshadows, especially that are created for the Asian market, they just have a very soft, kind of like watercolor-like appearance. And when we get to the eyeshadows, we'll talk about that a little bit more. But I was really happy to see that they decided to come out with a very bright blush. I kind of took it very easy because I knew I could look very clown-like instantly if you use too much of this. But I thought that this was really nice since we have a very soft eye look and everything else is cool toned, it's very icy, where I thought this blush was just sort of like the perfect complement to everything. It warms up your face a little bit. There's plenty of pink in there, so it's not too warm, but there's like just a little bit of warmth in there. It's like a pinky peach, and it just warms up the face really beautifully. And if you are familiar with Chanel blushes, they all have like this beautiful kind of like satin sheen to them. Not everyone likes that for their blush. Some people really like a matte blush, and you're probably not going to find too many matte blushes in the Chanel collection. But this blush has a very subtle sheen. It doesn't have any of the micro glitters, which a lot of Chanel blushes can have. This one is a lot smoother without any bits in there. So that is the blush. And then I want to move on to this gloss Lumiere. This is a multi-use top coat. And when I saw this online, I wasn't sure if I wanted to get it. I have some cream eyeshadows and things for my eyes, and I use them and I like them, but I don't reach for them quite as much as I reach for my powder eyeshadows, my palettes and things like that. And I thought, do I need another one? But I was actually at the Chanel boutique, and the sales associate there said, you know what, it's actually great as a highlighter. I don't know if you guys are gonna see this, but it's almost like the clear gloss version of the Rosy light drops. It has just this like really subtle shift to pink. I'm really hoping the lighting is catching it. So there's this little subtle shift to pink, and I think it would be gorgeous on the eyes if you like a gloss. It's not that sticky. It feels more like a lip balm versus like a lip gloss. But I used it and I just tapped it right onto the tops of my cheeks, and I just love it. It just amps up these Rosy light drops just a little bit more. You know, I like a little bit more of a stronger highlight on my cheeks versus the rest of my face. And this just gives me that. It's really nice. Of course, you can use this alone. You can use this alone, but they are really nice and complementary. One thing is though, if you do use it on your face, it does not set down. This will stay emollient on my cheeks, but I did wear this on my cheeks yesterday and I didn't feel like, you know, sometimes with the warmth of your skin, it starts to like, for lack of a better word, like loosen any kind of cream product you may have on your face. I didn't find that with this. It stayed put. I didn't feel like it was melting, I should say. I didn't feel like it was melting off of my face or anything. So that's a good thing. And it's not that, you know, it's like a little sticky, like a lip balm, but it's not like super tacky like a lip gloss. All right, let's jump into the eyeshadow quads. So first, let's talk about the purple one. This is the 356. I'm not going to slaughter this name again. So it's number 356. So here's a close-up of the quad. All of these shadows have this like camellia flower imprint on them. It's so pretty, and admittedly that is really why I wanted these eyeshadows. I just thought it was just too pretty to pass up. Here are some close-ups of the swatches. I just go from left to right, top to bottom. And the shade in here that looks white, you can see that it's actually iridescent. It has this really pretty like purpley pinky shift to it. And I was actually a little bit surprised by that. I thought it was just going to be like this kind of like white satin, maybe it would have like a little bit of a silver tinge to it, but it is iridescent and I think it works really well with the pinks and the purples. So what I did for my look was I put the light pink color all over my lid, basically just to kind of set down a concealer, just to kind of like prime my eyes. And then I went in with the darker shade, the darkest shade, I should say, and I added that to the outer corner and I started to blend that in towards the center. When I started to blend these shadows, you know, I wasn't expecting a lot of pigmentation. Like I said before, I knew that this was going to be like a light wash of color, but I did notice that the shades were kind of blending away. And again, I don't mind like a light pigmentation. I don't mind a very soft wash of color, but I don't want it to look patchy. And I felt like as I was blending, especially the dark color onto the light color, I felt like I was kind of blending away both of the shades and they were starting to look patchy. So when I went in again with the darker shade, I started to kind of like pat the color down a little bit more, kind of just to keep it there and not brush it away. And that seemed to work fine. And then I added this beautiful iridescent like white color. I added that to like the corners of my eyes. And then, you know, I wasn't too happy with the way the two original colors were kind of blending together. So I did add this color right in the middle, like right where they were meeting, just to see if I could help kind of like blend all the shades together. And I do think it helped quite a bit. And then I finished off the eye look by lining the eyes with the dark purple shade. I wasn't sure if that was gonna work, but I think it actually turned out really nicely. And overall, I really like the color story of this quad. I mean, I think it's very timely. We have been seeing a lot of pink and purple eyeshadow palettes now. I hope you guys aren't sick of them. I'm still finding them very pretty and I'm still finding them very appropriate for springtime, Valentine's Day, etc., etc. So I am really happy with these 4 colors. I think they work really beautifully together. And if you're into like a soft kind of eyeshadow look, I think you'll really enjoy this one. So that's the pinky purple one. And then the gray tone one is the one that I have on my eyes. So that is this one right here. We'll do a little close up. And then here are some swatches, and I, again, go from left to right, top to bottom. And this top color here, which looks like it's white in the pan, is also kind of like an iridescent shade. So with this quad, I start by putting down this peach color all over again, just to kind of like prime my eyelids. I go in with this lighter gray shade, the more like silvery one. I basically put that all over my eyelid from like the inner corner towards the outer corner, maybe not all the way out there because I know I wanted to add this darker color. So then I go in with the darker gray color and I apply that to the outer corner and I just start blending in. Now my issue with this quad is these two shades, especially, I mean, you can see it in the pan, but especially on the lid, they're just too similar. I don't think that you can get the dimension that you may want out of these colors. They're very pretty. These are fairly pigmented. They do have like a powderiness to them. So you are gonna get like a wash-like effect on the lids. But what I did was I added the, you know, white iridescent shade. I added that to like the inner portion of my lid just to try and lighten that up. And I blended that into the silver. And that gave me, you know, a little bit of dimension, a little bit of like light to dark from the inner corner to the outer corner. But I think if you were to see me in real life and look at my eyeshadow, you would probably think that I just had one color all over my lid. So I don't know what they could have done. Maybe made this a little bit deeper, maybe made this a little bit lighter. I'm not really sure, or made one like blue and made one like more of like a gunmetal. Maybe that could have worked, but I do think on the lids, they're just a little bit too similar. And I wanted to line my eyes with this color, but I just didn't think it was gonna be deep enough. So I actually went in with some eyeliner. I used the Chanel Black Shimmer waterproof liner, and then I actually used the Blanc Graphique color. It's basically just white, and I use that in my waterline, which I don't do often, but I don't know, I just felt like I needed it today. So I have that in the waterline, and I have this lining my eyes. And then the lip that I ended up using is the Lip Maestro from Giorgio Armani in the color 508. You know, I wanted like a bright pink, but not too punchy. So I pulled this one out and I think it actually looks really nice with like the cheeks and this gray color. So those are my overall thoughts of the pieces that I got from this LeBlanc collection. I really love the Rosy light drops. I really think this gloss Lumiere is a lot of fun. I love that it's a little bit iridescent. I think the blush is really, really beautiful. I think this is gonna be perfect for spring, summer. And if you're looking to just add like a little bit of color to your face, if you're using a lot of cool toned eyeshadows, which I think we will be over the next few months, sometimes I feel like you just need a little bit of like a brighter color in there, and this is so great. So I love those three. And then these quads, I like. I don't think these are the best Chanel quads out there. I really like the quads that they've been coming out with. The Warm Memories quad is absolutely gorgeous. I love that one. It came out with the Desert collection. I'm repeating myself at this point, but these are really beautiful if you just like a soft wash of color. I do think these colors are just a little bit too close. I would have changed that up personally, but I was really happy with the eye look that I came out with using this quad. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any questions down below in the comment section. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.